What if I tell you that the biggest opportunity for growth that's waiting for us are the mistakes that we're actually afraid to commit or make? We have dreams, we have aspirations, we have goals. We want to try new things. We want to do something, but we never achieve them. We never do them in the end because we're scared of this one thing, and it is making mistakes. I was the type of person that was actually afraid to make mistakes. We all are afraid to make mistakes, but me having this fear of making mistakes has given me less potential to grow in life. I was this kid before who's afraid to make mistakes. I'm afraid to make new connections because I'm afraid that I may have done something bad, or I may commit something out of the ordinary that people will hate me for it. I was also scared of making a YouTube channel, making my first video, because I think that I might fumble, my content may not be that good, I will be too niche, and I will have haters instead of fans. But look where I am now, and I just accepted that I'll make mistakes. I made mistakes, and now I'm here to improve. I'm here right now making videos. It is my 15th video, and I do not regret starting it, and I've accepted that I'll be making mistakes along the way, but that's why we're here to grow. To make mistakes is to grow. A lot of us are afraid of messing up. Well, everyone is. There's one guy who's scared to talk to this girl. There's one guy who has never started on his dreams, his aspirations, because he is scared of failing. He's scared of messing up. There's another guy out there who has a boring life because he doesn't want to try new things, because he's scared that he might make mistakes. And we are afraid of messing up because we have this fear of embarrassment, we have this fear of failure, we have this fear of judgment, we have this fear that if we make mistakes, our life's gonna end and our reputation's gonna break. But that fear alone, it stops us from growing. You could have talked to your crush, you could have said something, but instead you didn't want to because you're afraid of fumbling or airballing the shot. And now, months later, you look at her or him with another guy or girl. There is also another guy who could have been successful with his career, maybe YouTube or music. He could have been popular this year, but since he did not started it like 3 years ago, or still didn't start, he's missing out on that potential. He's missing out on that opportunity. We fear messing up because we fear embarrassment as well. We embarrass ourselves when we make mistakes. That's normal to feel that way. But maybe you think that if we embarrass ourselves, people are gonna look at us in a certain way. They're gonna judge us. They're gonna laugh at us and call us losers. We're afraid to also fail because we see mistakes as failures. Mistakes actually help us grow and in order to become successful, but most of us see mistakes as failures, and when we make mistakes trying to chase something or do something, we see it as it's over. We also fear mistakes because we are afraid from other people's judgment. We are scared of what other people will think of us. We are scared of what they will do to us or what they will say to us because we made a mistake. Judgment is normal. We fear judgment, but don't let the judgment define you, man. The truth about mistakes. Again, we fear embarrassment when we make mistakes, but the truth is, you're only embarrassing yourself because you let that embarrassment define you. When we make mistakes, we can be embarrassed for a while, for a bit, but most of the time, we embrace that feeling and we let that feeling define us. And that's why we feel so down when we make a mistake in trying to chase something or do something, when in fact, mistakes are actually normal. For example, maybe you sang in front of class and you had a voice crack and everyone's laughing and it was an embarrassing moment for you. Instead of like accepting it or learning from it, you made that your identity, you made that embarrassment a lot to you, and now you're thinking that you're a bad singer or you're not talented. But the truth is, embarrassment is just a short-term feeling. It comes and goes. And to avoid this fear of embarrassment, you gotta stop letting that embarrassment define you when you make mistakes, because it is just temporary, and mistakes are actually part of the process. They help you grow and learn. We also fear failure, but mistakes are not failures. They're just short-term disastrous situations in which are disguised as success. What do you mean by that? We always view mistakes as failures, but in turn, those mistakes actually have lessons for us. We learn something from them. We learn what not to do next time. We learn what to do better next time. We learn which is the best step for us to approach next time. It could be that you made a very bad decision and that affected your life or anything that you were chasing. And now you learn that making that decision is not for you, or you've learned from it. You've learned what decision you have to make next time. In relationships, you've made your partner angry or sad, and you just didn't know. And instead of like beating yourself up for it, you gotta say sorry to your partner and maybe apologize and learn from it, how to not piss her off next time, and how to actually understand your partner better next time. That's the power of mistakes. You learn from them and you change from them. Mistakes are not failures. Mistakes don't define you. You just let it define you actually. That's the truth. Through mistakes, I've learned a lot of things. One of which was having a disastrous Christmas party where we didn't play any games. Everything was boring. That was the mistake I thought I made. And I've learned from that by maybe planning better next time, or having better setup, having more games to play. And you can implement that in the near future once again, and now you've done better than what you did last year, and that's okay, and that's supposed to be the norm. Another mistake I've made was actually getting scammed. I'm in the Philippines, and if you're Filipino, you might actually hate me for making this terrible decision. You might even be shocked. So I've paid 700 for a motor hitchhike instead of 100 or 300. That's the price where they usually pay. But then the driver scammed me just for 700 pesos to drive me to another city, from the mall to the house. I didn't know about that time. I didn't know about it yet until I realized that I made a very big mistake. And I've learned that I should be a wiser guy next time. I should not immediately ride just because I'm desperate for a ride. That's the power of mistakes. They change you. They tell you what to do better next time. Mistakes can actually be powerful for you if you frame it in a way where you grow from it, you learn from it. If you frame it as a temporary pushback for you to push harder to success when you make that mistake, that's the way you should view it. View mistakes as something powerful. View them as a way to make you win, to learn from, to grow as a better person, for more opportunities for you and for your improvement. The cost of avoiding mistakes, the cost of the fear of making mistakes instead of actually trying and making mistakes. You're losing on opportunities, you're delaying your potential, and you're delaying the success that's waiting for you. And you're actually not growing if you're not making mistakes. So if you're scared to try something because you might mess up, do it anyway, because growth doesn't happen when everything goes right. Growth happens when you are pushed back, when you are on your lowest, or when you've made a very big mistake and now you've learned from it. That's where growth begins. To close this video, I want you to write the mistakes you're actually afraid of making, or things that you're actually afraid of making, and instead of delaying the action, why don't you do it and actually make mistakes so that you can learn or you can win it. Either way, if you make mistakes, you learn and you grow from it. Peace out, guys.